Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. The two true treasure wings started to merge with each other like two incredibly delicate instruments, and the engravings on the true treasures formed a larger and more mysterious engraving. The energy permeated. It felt like a long time to watch the scene, but it actually only took less than a minute. Then everything went back to normal. The giant silver wing was still open in the stillness, and it was mesmerizing. Unlike the other seemingly plain true treasures Luo Feng had, it was as if it were actively showcasing its beauty. 4 wings. Luo Feng looked at the silver-winged true treasure. The two sets of wings had connected to produce 4 wings. Come, Shawu wing, let me feel your power. He still called it Shawu, but the silver wing flew toward Luo Feng and merged with him. Luo Feng immediately opened the silver wing, which continued emanating endless power. The wing opened, resulting in changes in the space and time around it. Space and time, said Luo Feng. The engravings on the true treasure wing I got from Tianyang Knight were of time law, and my original Shawu wings had engravings of time law. Combined, they can affect the space and time around them. Luo Feng felt the wings on his back trembling. He kept infusing the wings with his godly power so that he could carefully study the engraving on it. Though he had never studied time law before, he was still studying into the time law engravings on the wing. After only half an hour of studying, he grasped the elementary power of the new wing. All 4 wings on Luo Feng's back started to move swiftly. Su, 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 su. Above the boundless remote ocean appeared tens of millions of images of Luo Feng. Ha ha ha. Incredible. Luo Feng whispered. This move can lead to disorder in space and time. I'll name the first form of my new Shawu wing's disorder in space and time. Before the merge, the second form of Shawu wing could lead to space disturbance, and the second form of light wing could lead to time disturbance. As for the first form of the new wings, disorder in space and time, it was a combination of space disturbance and time disturbance. It completely twisted the space and time, which made this move unpredictable and mysterious. And it was only the first form of the new wings. There's a second form. Luo Feng went back to study. After 3 days of study, Luo Feng gave up. After all, he didn't have a solid foundation in time law, which meant he wasn't able to derive the second form even if he could drive the first form with his accomplishments in engravings and familiarity with his Shawu wings. He speculated that the second form of the new wings must be the combination of the third form of Shawu wings and that of light wings. Also, I don't think the new wing is complete. Luo Feng frowned. Though the engravings on the new wings are extremely complicated, some parts are still missing. Luo Feng had very broad horizons. After all, he had created ultimate techniques of universe masters, and he often studied the engravings of the miniature universe. Though he still hadn't completed that, he could tell that there were engravings missing in the new wing. Does that mean there's a third wing? Luo Feng was shocked. That was right. These 2 wings were definitely only parts of the complete wing, and based on his knowledge of engravings, there should be a third part. The power from the combination of the first 2 wings could rival that of a top-tier true treasure. Luo Feng was thrilled. If I can acquire the third wing, the power will definitely surge. Don't think about it, he thought. Teacher Primal Chaos City Leader had the Shawu wings for a long time, and even he didn't know that the original Shawu wing was only part of a whole. I was just lucky enough to meet Tianyang Knight and knew that 2 wings attracted each other. Luo Feng knew that Primal Chaos City Leader couldn't bear any responsibility, as it was impossible to tell the missing part only based on the original Shawu wings or the original light wings. Shawu wings had pure space engravings while light wings had pure time engravings. Both sets of engravings were perfect, and hence it was impossible to tell what was missing. However, after they were combined, a pivot part was missing between time and space, and the lack of that pivot rendered the wing less powerful than its ideal status. Luo Feng wasn't even able to derive the third form of Shawu wing, and he realized that it would take him a long time to understand the second form of his new Shawu wings. The wings are much stronger, regardless. As for the third wing, I'll have to see if I'm lucky enough to find it. Luo Feng triggered his mind. The true treasures floating in the distance started to be automatically classified. Remote ocean body, a godly body 5,500 miles tall showed up beside Luo Feng. Take the senior true treasure armor, domain type true treasure, and a senior true treasure blade. Luo Feng immediately armed the remote ocean body with the senior true treasure armor and the domain type true treasure from Tianyang Knight. As for the senior true treasure blade, it came from one of the 5 universe overlords Luo Feng had killed. Take some precious material, treasures, and some other objects, and go back to the earth, Luo Feng thought. Remote ocean body shrunk to 6 feet tall, carrying black armor and a purple blade, exchanged eye contact with Luo Feng, and then teleported himself out of the god country. It's useless to leave all those true treasures in my god country, said Luo Feng. Teacher True Yang must be craving some true treasures. I'll choose a suitable one for him later. Luo Feng smiled and put the golden horned beast body and Mosha body away. In the space outside Earth, remote ocean body, dressed in black armor and carrying a purple blade, was standing in the atmosphere. His godly power started to envelop the Earth. From now on, he would be tasked with guarding the Earth and the Luo Feng's family. Luo Feng made that decision because he found out that remote ocean body was useless around him. The godly power of remote ocean body was 1/10 as delicate as that of the golden horned beast, and it was only 1,000th as large as the golden horned beast. The original earthling body could draw energies from the golden horned beast when his godly body was consumed, and the golden horned beast body could recover in no time. As for self-destruction, the power from blowing up the remote ocean body couldn't even compare to that of the ultimate technique of universe masters, golden light. Which meant remote ocean body couldn't help at all. However, remote ocean body had strong combat power innately, plus a senior true treasure armor, a blade, a domain-type true treasure, and the ultimate technique of universe masters, golden light. His power was only slightly weaker than that of the original earthling body and could easily outpower an ordinary universe overlord. He was adequate to guard the Earth. Luo Feng had left his family's keepsakes so that he could sense it when his families were in danger if his family members crushed the keepsakes. Still, it would be better for him to guard the Earth himself. While remote ocean body went to Earth and started to stand guard, Luo Feng went back the original stars. Inside the Thorn Ring Alliance, in front of a towering palace, a universe master was performing turning back time. A shadow stood in the black mist, and the space and time around him were being reversed. However, he kept standing still while bearing all the backlash of universe operation law. After a long while, everything went back to normal. The universe overlord nodded into the distance and went back to his palace. "Thank you, universe master." A giant man bowed. I'm alive again." Evil Fog Knight stood there, dazed and overjoyed. "Evil Fog Knight," the giant man growled, and Evil Fog immediately flew to the giant man and gave a salutation. "Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. I told you to follow Tianyang Knight, and I meant to get there as soon as possible, but I didn't expect you to be killed," the giant man said. "I asked Hu Master to turn back time to resurrect you. As for the price, I'll bear it." Evil Fog Knight relieved. It was costly to turn back time and resurrect someone. "What happened? How did you die?" Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress questioned. "This is what happened," said Evil Fog Knight. "I saw Tianyang Knight and a golden horned beast fly into the space whirlpool, and I reported it to you. After that, you asked me to follow them. I went into the space whirlpool and saw them fighting each other, and both of them had domain-type true treasures. Indeed, that Tianyang Knight has a domain-type true treasure." Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress snorted. "He got it by luck." They were fighting, Evil Fog Knight continued. "I thought Tianyang Knight was caught up in the fight too, so I hid elsewhere to watch, as I didn't dare get pulled into the domain. It was a brutal fight, and their domain-type true treasures were at the same level. One belonged to Tianyang Knight and the other to the golden horned beast." Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress listened carefully. Tianyang Knight was obviously the weaker one, and he soon attempted to run away, said Evil Fog Knight. "Run away? The weaker one?" Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was startled. "Did you recognize which knight the golden horned beast is?" "No. I have never seen him." Evil Fog Knight shook his head. "Oh. I tried to follow them, but then, Evil Fog Knight looked shocked. Suddenly, it turned dark, and I was trapped in darkness. I was surrounded by dark air." "Dark surroundings? And dark air?" Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress looked puzzled. "Was it chaos airflow? What chaotic airflow?" Evil Fog Knight was confused. The Thorn Ring Alliance did not have its own universe, so Evil Fog Knight would not know what chaotic airflow was. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress cast a look at Evil Fog Knight and told him, "That is the initial energy of the universe. It is the maternal source of all the energies we know of." "Maternal source of all the energies?" Evil Fog was appalled. "There's no need for you to probe further," Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress continued in a low voice, with furrowed brows. How did you meet with a chaotic airflow when you were on the original star? Tell me everything without leaving out a single detail. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was a top-tier universe overlord who enjoyed an extremely high status. He was knowledgeable and knew many secrets of the vast universe. Of course, he knew that a chaotic airflow should not have appeared on an original star. It was like this. Evil Fog Knight hurried to explain. I was watching the fight between that golden horned beast and Tianyang Knight from afar when suddenly, darkness fell. It was as though we had all fallen into another world. All around us, there was a dark airflow. I instantly knew that I must have fallen into a dangerous tactic deployed by my enemy, so I quickly pleaded for mercy, hoping that the great being would let me go. However, it was pointless. Then, the dark airflow split into two parts. It was like a gigantic grinder with me in the middle. I was in the grinder, surrounded by the dark airflow. My godly body was consumed rapidly, and I was left with no other choice but to self-destruct. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress listened intently and nodded slightly. He could not help feeling scared. If it was really chaotic airflow, that meant there was a special true treasure being used. Based on what Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress knew, some special true treasures that were extremely powerful, or the extremely powerful techniques that could only be created by the most terrifying beings, universe masters, were able to be transformed into chaotic airflows. That was a fight that only involved a golden horned beast and Tianyang Knight, thought Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. There was no universe master involved. If there was a universe master, killing Evil Fog Knight would have been even easier. There would have been no need to make use of that powerful technique at all. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress considered this, trying to figure out the situation. There is only one possibility. A special piece of a true treasure was used. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was very knowledgeable, but he was unaware of anyone with a perfect life gene level would be able to obtain the most powerful talent technique. That was considered a top-level secret within the universe, so he would not have been able to guess that it was a talent technique involved. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress stared at Evil Fog Knight as he pondered. The domain-type true treasure that the golden horned beast used. What form of domain did it take on? There were many kinds of domain-type true treasures in the universe. Every one of them took the form of a different domain, each with their unique characteristics. Given the domain-type true treasure, one could easily deduce more information on the background of the golden horned beast. But Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was still clueless. Domain. Evil Fog Knight suddenly recalled and said, Golden River, a vast golden river. Yes, and a few great beasts. I remember seeing the great beasts continuously colliding into the gigantic rolling rocks of Tianyang Knight's domain when the two true treasure domains charged at one another. As for how many beasts there were exactly, it was too far for me to see clearly. Golden River. Great beasts. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress raised his brow, and his eyes lit up. The human, Luofeng. Luofeng? Evil Fog Knight was baffled. You may take your leave, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress ordered. Evil Fog Knight was slightly taken aback, and in his heart, he was not content taking things as they were. Hey! Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress looked at him coldly. Evil Fog Knight could only grit his teeth to contain his displeasure as he transformed into light and departed. In his heart, he lamented the situation. Annoying Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress, I was obeying your orders when I followed Tianyang Knight, which was the reason I was annihilated. Although I could reverse time and space to be resurrected, all my treasures were gone. Not a single one left. This was really a great loss. Just my luck. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress looked unfeelingly at the retreating figure of Evil Fog Knight. Humph. I have already paid the price for your resurrection by reversing time and space, and you still want to take advantages? Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress started to fall into deep thought while standing in mid-air. Human form. Luofeng. That domain-type treasure must be the Nine Tiger River of the human race. And Nine Tiger River is in the hands of Luofeng. Nine Tiger River used to be a true treasure possessed by non-human races, but after a series of fights, the treasure had been taken over by different hands until finally, it landed up with the human race. Luofeng's reputation had recently been on the rise. Because of him, a fair number of universe great beings had been annihilated. Of course, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress knew all this, as he had received a tip-off way back when Luofeng obtained Nine Tiger River. As for Evil Fog Knight, because he was in the original star and was nothing more than an ordinary knight, he naturally only knew that a fair number of knights from the other races had been annihilated because for being consumed by greed and wanting to kill Luofeng. He was clueless in terms of other detailed information like Nine Tiger River. Such information was out of his reach. Earlier on, Evil Fog Knight mentioned that when Golden Horned Beast and Tianyang Knight fought, 9 Tiger River suddenly appeared, thought Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. It seems like Luo Feng's assistant is none other than that Golden Horned Beast. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress nodded to reinforce his deduction. Being able to achieve this degree of battle successes, succeeding in killing so many knights of other races, and even universe overlords, no wonder Tianyang Knight needed to escape from him. And lastly, the true treasure that gave rise to the chaotic airflow must be the doing of Golden Horned Beast. If it was Tianyang Knight's true treasure, then Tianyang Knight would not have had to escape when he met me years ago. Evil Fog Knight was pursued even though he was far away, and Tianyang Knight was annihilated. So, the treasure must be in the hands of the Golden Horned Beast. Luo Feng? Golden Horned Beast? Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress made his decision after a moment of thoughts. I shall go meet this human Luo Feng personally. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress instantly transformed into light and vanished into space at super speed. On the original star, with his silver armor and wings, Luo Feng carried his cutting pearl sword across his back as he flew high in the air. When knights of other races saw him approaching from afar, they would immediately steer clear of his path and go into hiding. It's Luo Feng. Hurry. Move out of his way. This Luo Feng's wings used to be a pair. When did it increase to 4? Who knows? Maybe he has changed the form of his true treasure. Or maybe he has changed to another true treasure. Luo Feng was just like the other top-tier universe overlords, with a presence that would cause knights of other races and even universe overlords to retreat. Of course, on planets where universe masters arrived, it would be Luo Feng's turn to hide. Even if he really wanted to enter a planet that had a universe master, he would ensure that he stayed far away from where the universe master was, maintaining a distance of at least 600 million miles. Is this how being a great being feels? Luo Feng whispered, standing at the apex of a towering mountain and taking in a bird's-eye view of the vast land. In this original star that is said to be fraught with danger, I am always on my toes. So long as I steer clear of the location where a universe master lands, no others would dare come provoke me. The original star was dangerous, yet this statement was based on comparative terms. To universe knights, it was extremely dangerous. To universe overlords, the extent of danger was much smaller. Otherwise, Guiyi Knight would not have been so confident that he would be able to borrow Luo Feng's soul-type true treasure way back then. Normally, if one was able to avoid running into top-tier universe overlords and universe masters, there should not be much danger to be worried about. Top-tier universe overlords were even safer so long as they did not take the initiative to provoke the universe masters. For instance, during the opening of a treasure, a top-tier universe overlord and a universe master might both enter to fight for its ownership. Under such a circumstance, there would naturally be the possibility of someone getting killed. Otherwise, by avoiding any path a universe master trod on, one could definitely stay safe. Heh! Luo Feng suddenly turned his head in a certain direction. In the original star, knights of other races would avoid me when they saw me in the distance, but this one here dares to approach within a mere 6 million miles away from me. From afar, a cyan light flew straight toward Luo Feng. That is. Luo Feng looked intently and tried to distinguish the identity of the approaching party. It was a giant with a body that was full of green vitality. And judging by its unique characteristics, looks, and aura, Thornring Alliance's Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress, Luo Feng recognized his approaching company in an instant. Then he smirked to himself. No wonder there was no fear. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was a top-tier universe overlord. Human Luo Feng, a booming voice sounded. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress, Luo Feng said, looking over from where he stood at the apex of the mountain. A while later, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress descended to a spot near Luo Feng. With a smile, he glanced at him and said, I've long heard of your name, human Luo Feng. This is our very first time meeting each other. I'm afraid the reason for this meeting is, most likely, that I ventured into the original star, hence arousing your attention, Luo Feng said humbly. He laughed and continued, to become such a prominent figure even to the extent of leading knights of other races to avoid me when they see me. All of these were not because of my true abilities. Unlike you, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. All others are in awe because you are truly powerful enough. Since all the other races had come to conclude that Luo Feng had an assistant, then so be it. Anyway, no one would believe him if he said otherwise. You are pretty capable, too, said Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. You hold high hopes of attaining at least the level of a universe overlord soon. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress looked at Luo Feng, then asked, now that I have met you, there is actually a favor I would like to ask of you. A favor? Luo Feng repeated. Please go on. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress wanted a favor from him? I need to make a true treasure, and I have been looking for many materials. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress glanced at Luo Feng, then continued. But I am missing a few important precious metals. The other universe knights make day tours whenever they see me, so there is no way I can speak to them at all. Luo Feng laughed. That was true. Even if he had wanted to speak to the other races, they would have avoided his path the moment they saw him tens of millions of miles away. I am not sure what metals you have, but Luo Feng, if there are any that I need, I am willing to pay you handsomely in exchange for them. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress smiled. Metals? Luo Feng asked out of curiosity. Aren't there any in the Thorn Ring Alliance? Sadly, there really aren't any, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress said with a resigned look. There are so many types of precious metals in the universe, and what I need, we used to have, but now, everything has been exchanged or claimed by others. Luo Feng nodded. I do have some materials, but I am not sure if there are any that you want, Luo Feng informed him. Previously, after killing Tianyang Knight, Luo Feng returned to his god country where he kept all the true treasures and treasures that he could not fathom. After all, materials that he could not understand would obviously be very highly priced. Luo Feng only brought with him the ones that he could recognize and understand, and he was clear of the prices of the treasures that he carried at his side. There's a chance you may have some. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress laughed out loud. How about letting me take a look? Sure. With a wave of his hand, a large quantity of metals floated before Luo Feng. Almost 100 types of metals were closely packed in the space before them. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress started scrutinizing and identifying the metals with eyes brightly lit. However, a short while later, the glimmer of excitement in his eyes dimmed as he shook his head with a smile. There really aren't any I need. Whatever metal that Thorn Ring Alliance lacks, I doubt I will have any, Luo Feng said, smiling but not revealing much. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress looked a little hesitant. Please feel free to speak your mind, Luo Feng said with a smile. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress went on to say, actually, I did not want to ask this. It's just that this metal is really important to me. The other races in the universe are all aware that Luo Feng has a top-tier universe overlord as his assistant. I trust that he, too, holds on to many precious metals. I am just thinking, could I have a look at what he carries? If he has what I need, I am willing to trade treasure for treasure. Your friend will not be put at a disadvantage. My assistant. Luo Feng frowned. Everyone in the universe wants to know who your helper is, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress said. He smiled as he gazed at Luo Feng. Wait a moment, I'll ask him now, Luo Feng continued. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress nodded and waited for Luo Feng's response silently. It would be wonderful if he could get a valuable without fighting. After all, the assistant had killed Tianyang Knight as well as several other universe overlords. Even Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress wasn't willing to start a fight. Luo Feng pretended to be connecting with his helper, but the golden horned beast was only one of his bodies. How was it possible that he had any other metals? Ah, Luo Feng said, looking at Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress with regret. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress, my friend said he doesn't have any metals. Doesn't have any? Land of Fan Nuo Fortress said. Or is not willing to share them. My friend said he doesn't have it. Luo Feng was still looking at Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. I can't do anything about it. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress nodded and sighed. What a shame. The second he finished, a monstrous force suddenly permeated outward. Meanwhile, endless green light started to shine. A gigantic vine several miles wide immediately enveloped the sky and land. The space was filled with endless vines that surrounded Luo Feng completely. An extremely low voice came out of the vines. What a shame. I didn't want to fight you in the first place. Luo Feng frowned and roared. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. Based on the information collected, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress had incredible power, and he had 3 bodies in total. His other 2 bodies were also powerful. The strongest one was the blossoming snow vine body, which was supposedly the original body of Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. It was an incredibly special life form in the universe. There were only 5 in total. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress had one of them, and he had joined Thorn Ring Alliance. As for the other 4 blossoming snow vines, they joined other powers. Blossoming snow vine had a life gene level of around 1,000 times, but it was extremely large, over 600,000 cubic miles, and it had an inherited technique, transplantation. With the inherited technique transplantation, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress had two bodies. Though they weren't as large as Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress, but they had similar life gene levels. That meant Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was as powerful as 3 top-tier universe overlords, which gave him an extremely high status in the Thornring Alliance. Ask your friend to give me all the metal, Luo Feng, the deep voice resounded. Give me the metal. Otherwise, I'll kill you. Even if that golden horned beast can protect himself, he won't be able to protect you. Golden horned beast. Luo Feng stood in the sky and smiled. He gazed at the white vines and the green light flowing around them. You are well informed. Are you going to give it to me or not? Boomed the low voice. It echoed all around Luo Feng. To me or not? To me or not? To me or not? I'll ask my friend to answer you. Luo Feng turned around, and a lovely golden horned beast showed up beside him. Golden horned beast, the voice said from the vines. Give me all your metal, and I'll leave. Otherwise, this human Luo Feng will die. Answer me. Are you going to give me the metal or not? The golden horned beast raised his head and growled. Are you trying to threaten me? Don't even think about it. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng started to guffaw. The endless, vine-covered world turned silent. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress hadn't expected the golden horned beast to refuse him. Was the golden horned beast really so confident that he could protect Luo Feng? He was also startled by Luo Feng's laughter. Then die, began Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. But before he could finish, the golden horned beast and Luo Feng both protested. You're the one to die. Endless golden waves flooded out and started permeating and penetrating through the cracks among the vines. They looked like river waters, but they were a special energy domain transformed from the Nine Tiger River under burning godly power. It covered an area with a radius of 19 million miles. However, the blossoming snowvine body was able to resist it easily. Larger, larger, larger. The golden horned beast growled. The golden horned beast instantly became larger, and the white vines with green light flowing around them started to wind around the golden horned beast. However, he was wearing the top-tier set true treasure beast god armor, and he had weapons everywhere in his body. His claws kept slashing, and countless golden engravings started to flow. Numerous white vines bounced away. They weren't able to stop him from growing larger. He is neglecting the earthling Luo Feng, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress said, startled. Meanwhile, numerous vines dashed towards Luo Feng like green lights. Silver-armored and silver-winged Luo Feng gazed at him with a smile. Break, Luo Feng murmured. The 4 wings on his back became dozens of feet long, and countless engravings were flowing on the wings. Aside from the ultimate technique of Universe Masters, Luo Feng had also created an ultimate technique of Universe Overlords he had named Haze. He was already familiar with using his wings like blades, and now, he was using all 4 of them. Besides, the attack power of his new Shawu wings was at the same level as Cutting Pearl Sword. 4 glowing, golden arcs ward off those vines. Luo Feng stood in the space and waved his wing, easily resisting all the attacks. After only a few seconds, all the vines vanished. Of course, it wasn't only thanks to the original earthling body, but also the golden horned beast. Larger, larger, larger. It was covering the sky and land. This was his golden horned beast. At over 600,000 miles long, it stood in the sky, black and ferocious. After finishing the 3rd level of deities of the world, he could shrink his body to a large extent. For an ordinary golden horned beast, 60 miles was their limit, but the normal godly body of golden horned Luo Feng was 5,500 miles long. Even though it was only enlarged 36 times, it was still within the limit, and it wouldn't affect Luo Feng's combat power. The golden horned easily ripped blossoming snowvine apart. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The golden horned beast 600,000 miles long and blossoming snowvine with a diameter of 600,000 miles glared at each other. Luo Feng's original earthling body stood on the golden horned beast, and countless vines spread from the dark turquoise fortress. Apparently, the core of blossoming snowvine was hiding in the fortress, and numerous vines were all bursting out of the fortress. A shadow was also standing among the vines. It was Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. It seems that the other races are all wrong about you, said Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. You're already as powerful as a universe overlord. Have you become a universe knight? Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was standing above the blossoming snowvine. Luo Feng was standing the golden horned beast. Think whatever you want, Luo Feng whispered. Give me the metal, then I'll let you leave. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress yelled. He felt intimidated already and couldn't help glancing at the enormous golden horned beast. It looked so savage. It was the spitting image of the gold beast god. They even felt the same. Besides, the technique the golden horned beast had just performed made him more alert. Though the technique Luofeng performed with his wings was incredible, it couldn't even compare to that of the golden horned beast. "You look confident, Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress," said Luofeng. He stared at Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. "Are you feeling confident? I suggest that you leave first." Indeed, Luofeng didn't want to fight Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress, especially at 600,000 miles long with a flying fortress. "The attacks from the vines of blossoming snowvine are ordinary. It's not my supreme technique," Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress yelled. "My blossoming snow wing is able to ensnare your golden horned beast, and I can easily kill you." "You're joking," Luofeng teased him. This infuriated Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress and the giant blossoming snow vine. Following a bellow with rage, a magnificent green world enveloped the area within thousands of square miles and hit the Golden River from Nine Tiger River. It was apparently a domain-type true treasure. "Fight!" Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress and blossoming snow vine charged Luofeng. The vines entwined each other, becoming 8 gigantic vines thousands of miles thick. They slashed at the golden horned beast like 8 green whips. The golden horned beast charged while Luofeng stood in the sky. "Luofeng, you're seeking your own death," Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress shouted as he flew toward him. Luofeng took the cutting pearl sword from his back and glared at Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. A huge, godly slash showed up in the hands of Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress, and there an infinity of ancient engravings on it. Under his burning godly power, it slashed toward Luofeng. A blurry golden light started to shine. It came from Luofeng's Universe Overlord ultimate technique, Haze. Luofeng had created 2 techniques, one of them was Golden Light, and the other one was Haze. Both could exhibit the transformation of Luofeng. He really looked forward to the result when he created a pinnacle technique the first time, and he had pondered the name of the technique for a long time. However, he didn't care about the names much anymore. They hit each other. Luofeng bounced away, but the vines kept charging him. Luofeng tried to use Cutting Pearl Blade and his Shawu wings to defend himself, but the vines were too strong and quick, and they all hit Luofeng's force armor. Luckily, Luofeng could still withstand it with his force armor. "No," said Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. Although he was suppressing Luofeng, he realized that the blossoming snow vine couldn't hold it anymore. All the vines went back to the dark turquoise fortress and started to flee. This video will end here.